Welcome to a match between Terrageddon and Cradle Control. This is the third round of the Hyggeliga this time around, and I'm playing this version of Terrageddon. If you have any questions to the list, just comment down below and I will try to answer every single comment. But let's just go on to the match here. Just to be clear, I am going into this on the blind here, so I have no clue what I'm facing. I just see a Zelda playmat and 20 life and a wooded foothills with a bird, so naturally I am concerned about this being some sort of survival deck. That is the first thought that I had here. But I do the nice play of playing a Sylvan library. And my plan is already quite clear here. I am some sort of Terravor deck, but do I play the Oath? Do I not? That is something that he isn't aware of. And now I see the Priest and a Cradle, so I know this is Cradle Control. If I hadn't seen a bird, but an elf like Elves, I would have been sure this was elves. But here is Cradle Control, a very difficult list to beat. For my list here, if I had spot removal for lands, I would surely be in a better place, but I don't. And playing down an Armageddon against a board full of creatures that can produce mana, and him being able to play down a Cradle and just nullify the effect it's a brutal thing to have happen to you. And I don't have any kind of sweeper in my main deck, so this is looking rough. Playing a Mongoose and taking care of that Cradle before his turn. I think that's a nice play. And maybe he just follows up with another one. I'm not quite sure. But at least taking out a Cradle is something you have to do when you do have the Wasteland for it. So now he plays an Acolyte that just draws a card, but if he gets the Symbiote online, he can start to do that every single turn, and that's not something I would like to see. He plays a Port. Port is incorrectly shown on my side of the field here, but I guess you can see the playing area as well. And this match is difficult, as I said. A fast Terrageddon with follow-up Armageddon is probably the best play. I'm starting to dig for something here with the Secluded Step and finding another treetop. Not ideal, since he has the wall. If he didn't have the wall, it would surely be better to have treetops attacking sooner than later, but in this situation, I don't think it makes much sense, so I probably didn't have anything else to do here. He swings for 2 and gets me down to 14. Moves his Port, so he does have another land here. Asking me how much do you have in hand. I show him the number of cards. A forest. And he taps treetop in my upkeep. Just slowing down the game because eventually he will be able to get out of control here. His deck can go so wide, it's ridiculous. And it happens quite fast, and it's one of these stacks that the cards has always been in the card pool, but somehow haven't been put together like this, and it's a great deck. So one of my tech cards are Fire Ice, and using that on his creatures that produce mana is nice. if I can land an Armageddon here, I'm doing all right. Although he can just block my goose all day with his wall. So I need a Terrageddon to get through here. He finds a forest. And what then? Does he offer the trade? No, he has plans. He wants to deploy something. What does he? Survival. If you didn't know, survival is quite a good card. One of the best engines in the game, although it can be slow. But here he finds Squee. Too few decks have main deck removal for graveyard cards, so getting Squee from survival equals a free tutor effect each turn. And now the symbiote allows him to get back his acolyte in hand and play it out for another draw. So could have taken the trade here, but he would just have found another one. It takes 2, goes to 12, and it's my turn. And he has the engine online. This is just as powerful as in Elves, but very difficult to beat. Engineered Plague is nice against Elves, but it doesn't quite do it here. You can see it can only take care of one creature right now. The Blossoms is really stopping my ability to harm him. Disenchant here and trying to stop his plan. But he does have the combo of the insect with the acolyte, getting an extra draw each turn, and does have a lot of mana with his Cradle. So he returns his elf here, returns Squee, and draws. And now what? He plays a Finhorn Elf, which is almost free. It is free at this point. He pays 1 mana to put it into play, but he has Cradle, so it ups that mana effect. And now he gets to draw here. Four mana from Cradle. Return. And probably, yeah, plays again. Have 2 mana in the pool. And plays 2 elves. Yeah, this is what I mean when I say this deck can get out of control quite quickly. It's my turn again. I don't see how I can get back from this. I do have the Pyroclasms in the sideboard for this matchup, along with a lot of other matchups. But there are some Terravolists running around with those in the main, and they play walls in the main as well, Wall of Blossoms that is. So they are resilient to the aggro decks, and they can Pyroclasm main, which is also nice against all these decks with a lot of small creatures. Cradle Control, Elves, Goblins, and Moneyball Black. Okay, fetching here, finding a Plains. And Armageddon. This is not a good place to Armageddon. This looks like it's GG. He has so many ways to get out of this, but I had to do something. And I've heard this is a tactic that you're not supposed to do in Commander, though, like playing an Armageddon without a plan afterwards. I do have a plan in my Wayfarer if he drops a land, but here he does what I said earlier. He drops a Cradle after an Armageddon, a Cradle which is just 5 lands in one land. Totally nullifies the effect of my Armageddon. I can use. Yeah, I can't even activate my Wayfarer here without maybe a Mox Diamond. And now my library is gone. And he just plays more and more mana into this board, knowing that I probably don't have a sweeper. And if I do have a sweeper, it's probably the Cataclysm, and he's not afraid of that. Okay, gets another draw in here. Another insect, another bird. Just playing all the 1-drops in green. And he's just finding counters for his excess amount of mana here. Draw. He's just trying to find a way to just close down this game. He might even have enough in just this board here. And I think turning these insects upside down is a nice way of showing that you have used its once per turn ability. And Sylvan, and now a Ranger to find a land, a mountain. So now he just needs anger, and he also has haste now. Yeah, and swings for 3. No blocks. I could trade, but I choose not to. Um, 2 mana. Yeah, this is just too late. I use a fire here, probably on the 2 insects. Yep, 2 insects are gone. But his battlefield is still quite huge. And with the Sylvan, he is able to draw into more gas. And yeah, let's see, what am I afraid of here? Am I afraid of a Kaplusan Forest? No. Am I afraid of survival? Yes. Is this just game here? Yes. I I have no way out. That's game 1. I took a beating here. If you are playing MTGO or Magic the Gathering online and are using a rental service, or if you want to do that, I have a link in the description for a referral and a coupon code which makes you get 30% off on your next subscription. So consider that, and onto the video. Okay, now game 2. This might be a more fair game here. I am on a mulligan to 6, and he is not. He just keeps 7 cards. Now for a more fair game, I do have my my ways of just removing his whole board in one swing, and I think that is a nice place to be. Turn 1, Mox Diamond, Kaplusan Forest, and Among Us, he is on a Ranger. So another mana elf. I offer the trade here. do offer the trade. He doesn't take it. He just takes one and draws for turn. Playing down a Sylvan. That's dangerous for me here. Sylvan is a nice way of getting out of a lock from my removal of either his lands or his board of creatures. So I do not like to see Sylvan this early on. And he takes the trade here. He needs to stop me. Looks like he has a slow hand. And he is able to play a slow game here. He has the port against me, stunting my my lands. And now here, does he take more than one card? He's not in a hurry, but it depends on what's on his top here. If he can play out a ton of stuff in one turn. But he knows that I have the Pyroclasms, he knows. So there's no way he's going to overextend here. But he chooses to play down an elf and a port and ships the turn, porting one of my lands, probably the forest or Camplusen Forest. Yes, green source, of course. Maybe worried if I could have a terror. I do have a Call of the Herd. Call of the Herd is nice until he can deploy a land. Oh, sorry, not a land. Of course, it doesn't care about lands. If he deploys a wall, this is just an elephant that's going to stare at him. Walls are so powerful, even though they look kind of bad at first. But getting to stop early on stuff, and even with the Wall of Blossoms getting a draw, or with the Wall of Roots getting a mana, nice abilities for stuff that can stop the aggro decks. Okay, so taking more than one card here with Sylvan, dangerous. He gets a Crypt. Does he pop it for just the Call the Herd though? Does he wait until there's more stuff to get rid of? So would you rather play the Crypt or the Furnace? They're both upsides and downsides for the cards, but I think here this is a correct play to just play something that gets rid of everything at once. Okay, survival. Dangerous stuff. I do not like to see survival. Tapping the Camplusen Forest. I draw for turn, so 3 cards in hand. Fire Ice could be nice. Disenchant effect could be nice for the survival. Survival is super dangerous. And it does have mana for an activation. But I go to combat and swing for 3. Not that I'm trying to kill him with this elephant alone. I don't think that's a viable plan. But getting to lower his life total so that I can actually hinder him from drawing multiple cards off of Sylvan is something I need to be wary of. And here I remove the symbiote. But his board state looks dangerous. He goes to find probably Squee here to start comboing off. Yes, he does, but he can't activate it once more, so just finding squee. That's all right. Unzaps and Sylvan Trigger here. Sylvan Trigger, so what does he find with the Sylvan? And how many cards does he take? He just takes one. He doesn't need any more because he gets the card advantage from the survival as is now. But at least he only have 2 green mana here. Pitching, survival. Finding a bird, playing it out, and sending back the turn. And he taps my lair land. Rith's Grove is what gave name to this Terrageddon list. It's Rith Terrageddon. Light splash of red, as you saw in the start here, with the sideboard especially being quite nice with the sweepers and the blasts. You can also go with the blue plan of more meddling mages and counter magic and draw effects, and the blue blast effects if you are worried about Sly being something in your meta. But I like this version more. Yeah, this doesn't look good for me. With a Malta 6, I at least stopped him a little bit with the fire and the wasteland. But that's just... often it's not enough. So he taps 3 mana here, 4 mana, 5 mana. Yuck, 5 mana, Hermit. Elves, no, an elf with scrolls, which can quickly take care of my life total. And still has... yeah, I fetch here. But what am I going for? What am I going for here? Well, I found a forest. But I need more stuff than that to take care of this crazy looking board state. 4 mana. Just called the hurt flashback. Yeah, just another elephant. My watercolored one from Gordon Anderson from Wak Wak. I just love this this token here. Okay, before we go to my turn, he uses his survival. I have played against players that either forgot to use survival when they had Squee in hand and 3 mana. I have seen people forgetting Squee in the graveyard. This guy knows what he's doing, at least. This is playing it quite well, I would say. At least he killed me quite effectively in game 1. But with his Sylvan, he doesn't need to be aggressive. But he can be, of course, because he has the squirrels to block. But if I Pyroclasm him here, I can just go to town. So I think he needs to be aware of his life total at least. Finding anger. Discarding anger, so probably finding a Granger. Yes, finds a Granger, so he can find a basic mountain. the only kind of mountain you can actually find here, but he finds a basic mountain and then his stuff has haste, which is nice if he gets to go for priests. Okay, symbiote. Yeah, now he probably needs a priest next turn. Or he should just go kill me. Okay, he returns an elf before the symbiote is removed or exiled. Now, do I have the pyroclasm? Do I have the pyroclasm? Could I please have the pyroclasm here? It would be nice. But looking back here, I would say my deck probably needs a fourth one instead of the green and red one. It's nice to be able to have that as an instant, but Pyroclasm is just way better. I think most decks that can run Pyroclasm should run multiples, and this deck especially with all the elephants and so on should definitely run 4 of those. If you have elves or goblins or Moneyball Black in your local scene, or in the scene that you are attacking, I would say. Okay, getting some more elves out and getting a pump effect on them as well. I of course block two squirrels here. 2 squirrels are blocked, and I sort the hermit just to take a little bit less. Not sure if that's correct, but it is a play. But he can just find another one. My turn. He ports. I draw. Then what? I just have 2 cards in hand then. I attack here. He jumps. And finding Scree in the graveyard, putting it back in hand, and I'm at 15. He can easily find something to kill me with here. Asking about my graveyard. So show him that. Have drawn 3 swords. Not as good as Fire Ice in this matchup, but still a good card. Scree is discarded for survival. And does he just have... Yeah, another hermit. And I... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hermit, and the pump effect plus the all the tokens is yeah, that's game. That's 16 damage, it looks like. And I'm at 15, which is too much damage to take, and I cannot survive this, and that is game. I have 2 lands in hand, and that's it. Thanks for watching me getting owned here.